Hi everyone, I'm back with another art journal video, and today I will be working in my dilutions journal. So you must have noticed that I was away for quite some time. It's more than for a month. The reason for that was I was busy looking for a new accommodation in a new city. Yes, I'm moving city, so that was the reason I was not able to put too much work into making art journal videos. So now back to the videos. So today I'm working on a technique that I saw on YouTube. I don't remember exactly who was working on this technique, but yeah. So it's about putting gesso, but not directly onto the paper, with the help of a stencil. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to use this stencil and going to apply gesso onto the page with the help of the stencil. And as you can see, my gesso is quite liquid, so instead of using the brush, I'm using a sponge because I don't want the gesso to seep between the stencil. So now that the gesso is dry, I'm using the ink tea dye, and I'm going to put a lot of water in it and kind of give it a wash. So what happened here is it's a very nice technique if you want an easy texture onto the page. The moment I'll apply the gesso, the page which is porous, it will seep the ink very nicely, and wherever there is gesso, the ink will stay on top of it, because gesso has made the page non-porous. So I removed the wash with the help of a cloth from the area where it was covered with gesso. So that created a very nice easy texture for me to start the art journal with. Second, now I'm working on this coffee dyed paper, which I coffee dyed myself, and I'm using this stamp, text stamp on it. I first tried using archival ink jet black, but I did not like the boldness of that with this text stamp, so I moved on to archival ink sepia, and I like the effect it is giving to this coffee dyed paper. So the reason for using this stamp and a coffee dyed paper was I do have some book pages, but I have been using book pages for quite some time. I do some offline collages, and I use them quite extensively in those collages. So I wanted to do something different, and I was not in the mood of using book pages for this particular art journal. So now I'm happy with how the stamping is done. I'm ripping this page and putting it randomly onto the art journal. So it gives a nice variation and look to the page. I'm just putting these scraps of coffee dyed paper randomly, not decided where I'm going to put the focal image yet. So after I have glued down the pages, I gave the whole art journal a wash with the matte medium, so that next time I'm using any inks on the page, they will have a uniform effect. It should not be you know getting in touch with the porous part of the page. So that was the reason I put the matte medium. And now what I'm doing is I'm using this stencil, and I'm using a modeling paste, and I'm giving a slight texture to the page. I also want this stencil texture to look like a ripped book page, so that's why I am going not in straight lines, but in some curves or in some ripping kind of movement if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, I'm happy with how the structure paste looking, modeling paste is looking, and now that everything is dry, I bring out the focal element. This is one of the collage tissue paper from Tim Holtz collection, and I have already feathered the edges so that there are no sharp lines from when I put this on. Again, I'm using the matte medium to glue this collage tissue paper piece down. Okay, I'm happy with how the page is looking, and now I can see that the focal elements of these two birds have some red color on their body, and the nest is covered with green leaves. So I have used complementary colors from the Distress Oxide collection, and I'm going to put these color on the pages, making sure that I'm covering all the modeling paste when I'm doing that. Distress color, when dries, it dries a little on the paler side, so that's why I'm not worried that it's looking so bright right now. I made sure that I have dried the abandoned coral first before applying the evergreen bow, because green and red when mixed together produce brown. Not that I did not want any brown on the page, but definitely not when these two colors are mixing, and don't want to create a mud where they both get blended. So yeah, it's always good to dry one color when this kind of contrasting colors have to be applied together. Okay, I've dried evergreen bow now, but now when I see the page, I feel that the red is taking the eyes away from the focal image. It's too bright for me to concentrate in the middle. So what I did was I took that gesso out and gave a wash on top of the red color, and that helped dial it down a bit, and it was looking nice. And now that I have applied gesso on top, I thought, okay, I will put the gesso around the collage tissue paper and try to blend it with the evergreen bow too. And I also put a little bit of the gesso onto the scrap paper, which have text stamp on it. Okay, I'm quite happy with how the page looks now, and before doing the next step, I thought of applying color to the edges of the art journal. So I first used archival ink sepia, and then I used jet black only on the edges. I did not bring it inside the page. And now that I have given an edge to the border, so it's time for splatters, and I use the leftover abandoned coral to put the splatter on the page. So these are the quote from Tim Holtz collection. I think it's called Small Talk. and I always prefer to put some glue behind it, because when you have this much of textured page, these quote do not stick well. And I still felt that the page needed something more, and somehow I felt that I need to put some shine onto this page, so I bring out my gold acrylic paint and started adding it to the border of the art journal. And yeah, it's definitely made all the difference. And now that I have some leftover paint, and well, why not experiment? So what I did was I did some dry brushing onto the modeling paste impression that I have put on the page. So I'm trying to dry brush the acrylic paint onto these impressions, and slowly with each application it started to have a kind of a pearly kind of misty pearly kind of look onto them. And I don't think camera is capturing it that well, but if you just look at it in the real life, you can see that these modeling paste texture are looking very nice after the dry brushing using the acrylic paint. And then of course splatters. And I did not feel like wasting away this gold paint, so I took out the piece of paper, leftover piece of paper, and I put the acrylic paint on top of it. And now that everything is dried, here's the close-up, and I'm loving how beautifully the tea dye, the green color and the red color are gelling well in each other, and how the first texture layer with which I created with gesso and tea dye is still showing through all the layers. That is making it really nice. Now that I love this technique, I think I will be using it with a lot of different stencils. And I'm trying to show you the dry brushing on the texture paste. And yeah, look, sort of a pearly kind of look is there, but it's so hard to capture on the camera, but it's looking very nice. I think the gold has given the whole page the kind of magical touch it required. Really happy about this quick and simple art journal page. If you like it, do give it a thumbs up, share with friends, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.